Today I will talk about emotional gravity and its role in our lives, directing our lives. Of course, we all know the immense role gravity has on material objects, and gravity cannot be shielded against. It's an all-time present force in all our material world, and it does have influence on living systems as well. The plants grow against gravity, animals balance against gravity, and we even know in today's age that we have space travel, that the lack of gravity can be dangerous for our well-being. Spending time in microgravity ages you. It is bad for the muscular system, it's bad for the bones, and even all kinds of bodily functions. So it is often equated with aging. So gravity is not only important for our day-to-day existence, but it's also important in our overall health even. And yet, gravity gives us such nurturing stability that we only notice its presence when we are falling or when we are out of balance. However, gravity is intimately used in our pleasure-seeking. Children world over like swings and the rocking of the cradle. Even adults enjoy rocking chairs. We like roller coaster rides, because as the gravity increases when the ride is going higher, then when it reaches the highest point and the ride will stimulate weightlessness, and that's an immense joy, it's a pleasure, and this is common all over in every culture and throughout history. So we not particularly like the gravity. We like the point when the gravity is past, when we experience this weightless feeling. This is an expanding feeling, a joyful feeling indeed. And what is so interesting that not only the physical gravity, but there is another type of gravity. This occurs because the brain, be interacting in the gravitational environment, really formed a word and energetic structure that is symmetric or analog to this gravitational world, to the operation of this gravitational world, material world. So in our mind, we do enjoy a similar transition. In children's stories and in dramas, in all cultures, the typical story is an increasing difficulty replaced by a glorification afterwards. This is the same pattern as a roller coaster ride with the increasing gravity and then weightlessness. When the hero suffers through trials, that's an increasing emotional gravity, and the greater the difficulties are, the more immense the glorification afterwards. This is the secret of 24-hour news channels even. We worry about people or even animals being in trouble, and we are excited and nervous throughout the effort to save them, and we just can't feel to be elated and joyful about their liberation or the happy ending of the events. But there is even more implication to emotional gravity. Our mind operates so much like the outside world with gravity that we do form a kind of field that is analog to the temporal, to the gravitational field that is connected to Einstein's name, because it was him who first noticed this. And today, the implication is particularly poignant because the gravitational waves, the existence of the gravitational waves was just now confirmed. And we do know, this is a first precise measurement that shows that this field indeed exists like a flexible, stretchable fabric that, of course, is three-dimensional and contains all our world everywhere. But this flexibility does include energy, so it does hold us. And the same way, our mental world forms such similar field that is stretched in time, over time. And this temporal gravitational field, if you will, it holds us, it nurtures us, but it can also hold us back, just like real gravity. So the same way as real gravity prevents us from jumping to moon, this emotional gravity, this temporal gravity holds us back, and it does change over time. Little children and young people are so flexible because their emotional gravity is way smaller. They can adapt to any circumstance easily, quickly, and they love to change with the fashion, and they adopt crazy fashion trends. Older people have greater emotional gravity, and they are more stable because of that, but they will not change easily. They are resistant to change. And this emotional gravity is so similar to the real gravity that is known in physics, that the same way as gravity forms different curvature layers, known that black holes that have infinite curvature, and the planets such as the Earth have very mild gravitational curvature. The same way in society there is a curvature, a field curvature that changes over time and changes between different classes. Of course, in historical times, the class system was a rigid division, and it meant those people who were in the smallest curvature region, that equates a lack of time. They did spend all their time seeking for survival. That's what lack of time means. They had no time for pleasure. And the other end of the spectrum, those the well-to-do, they had the wealth of time, and they were living in the smallest curvature region. So we can imagine this like a balls of concentric circles put into each other, and the inner region is the place where due to the lack of time, people have the most misery. It doesn't necessarily equal with financial means, but naturally we all tend to look for money as the solution to our problems, and there is a certain truth in that. But I argue that those who increase this temporal curvature in their lives will find that their situation will change. So it's not the money that is primary, that is just an indication of the mental state. So what does it mean? How do we create this gravitational curvature in our lives? Well, negativity increases the curvature, and positive emotions decrease it. But it's inversely true also. Positive news means a negative curvature, which of course makes you happy and enhances your positive state in life. And when you have negative events occurring in your lives, then you become more negative about everything, and that will enhance your misery. So everything is interconnected this way, and we can see that when we let's